you're taking on responsibilities, and you have to sometimes not be afraid of like what the next level of that responsibility is going to be.
This is a journey.
Let me take you on a journey.
Welcome to Her Journey, presented by Kudzukian Media Group.
We believe Her Journey will encourage young women and help them see that life is a journey.
You have to continue to walk in your purpose.
We cannot control how other people respond to us.
As long as you have breath in your body, story does not end. Every day that God grants you, you have an opportunity to rewrite your story.
We believe Her Journey will encourage young women and help them see that life is a journey. Watch Her Journey, hosted by me, Joy Doss, brought to you by the Kudzukian Media Group and proudly sponsored by Nike, Black Community Commitment. Hello and welcome to another episode of Her Journey. Her Journey is presented by Kudzukian Media Group, and this is our contribution to the solution. We are showing young women the many, many ways that they can be successful and the many faces of success. We have another phenomenal woman today, and she's also a Vol for life. We're Vols for life. And that is Shante Avant. Welcome to Her Journey.
Thank you, Joy. I'm so happy to be here today.
I'm happy to have you. We're pretty in pink today.
We are. You know, that's just that kind of ball energy. You know, we make things happen right here. It's
right
energy.
Here.
Yeah. All that.
All the synergy. So Shante is the president and CEO of the Women's Foundation of Greater Memphis, which is a pretty big job.
It is, but one I love and adore.
You've been there for almost 2 decades.
I have. Yeah, I don't look what I've been through, right?
Right. No. Not even close. Not even close.
But yes, it is. It's been a joy to work for the Women's Foundation. It's my heart work. It's a work I love doing the most, and I'm so glad to be there.
So what made you stay for 2 decades? Because people kind of hopscotch, you know, to different jobs and different positions. Like they keep getting promoted at different companies. So what makes you stay I know you said it's your hard work. So aside from that, what makes you stay?
Well, I guess the same reason people like go to different jobs. I was promoted in different roles. Started out as a director of grants and programs, and then moved up to a deputy director and then vice president. And as of January 2023, became president and CEO. So it's been a progressive journey for me and learning and growing as a professional. But more importantly, it's something I have been committed to doing. The work that we do is so impactful.
It is.
That I really wanted to be a part of that and see that work to fruition. So it's been a great journey for me.
So what did young Shante think she was going to be when she grew up? I see Shante, my daughter went to IC as well. I see Shante, UT Shante. What does she think she's going to be? Are you what she thought you were going to be?
No, I actually always wanted to be a pediatrician.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my goal.
What happened?
Well,
what changed?
You know, you get to UT and, I got to UT and my journey changed because what I found passion in was really about more learning and people and how you help people and how I've always wanted to help people. But the way I figured I would help people has just changed. And so I got an undergrad in psychology and a master's in social work. And it's always still been rooted in helping women and children. Like every journey I've had, I was actually, my first job out of college was at the Boys and Girls Club for Greater Memphis. And I started as the first female program director back in 1994. And all of my roles have really just been journeys of how.
So right out of college?
Right out of college.
Okay.
Right out of college. That was my first job. And I see some of the kids that I, served back then. I was in my 20s, and now they're adults and they're, I still see them sometimes out in the community. Like, Miss Shante, do you remember when we did this or we did that? And I'm like, yeah. and that I was able to take some small part in helping these young people become productive people as citizens has been, it's a great joy for me.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. And I want to say this too, for the record. You mentioned, you started in your 20s. So I'm sitting here thinking, this lady hasn't aged a day. Like, you really haven't aged a day. Seriously.
I appreciate that. You're being kind.
I'm really not. I'm being truthful. So you haven't aged a day. So I have known this woman like 30 years.
It's been over 30 years.
That is wild. So that's so wild. So tell us about, rewind past the 30 years to your community, your home. Like, what was home like? What was the community like that raised you?
Mm-hmm.
How did that influence and impact you? Who impacted you, outside of your parents?
That's always, when people talk about your journey, it always starts with your roots, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have very loving parents who instilled in me the importance of, because you've been given so much, to whom much is given, much is required.
Of course.
And that has been part of my journey always. I was blessed, and my parents provided a great life and education, but always around, how do you help people, especially Black people in Memphis, move forward, progress. And I come from a family of very strong women, extremely strong women. My great-grandmother was a preacher who, went around picking up folks to go to Bible school. And the beauty of it is I've always had these strong maternal influences in my life. My great-grandmother I had until I was a sophomore in college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my grandmother and then my mother. And these strong women always created a pretty unique fabric of how you supported your families. But it didn't mean that you had to tone down or inhibit who you were authentically as women, and that we were leaders, in any aspect of what we did. And so that leadership really was born from my grandmother and my great-grandmother, my mother, and this very beautiful family of aunts. We call them the aunties, and they were very influential in everything I have become. And more importantly, how we always thought about you making your community better. And that was from church. It was from spending my Saturdays and summers in Castalia with my grandmother and the people that you grew up around. You just kind of had a sense of, it is not an isolating, but it's really the integration of all of these people and their talents and their skills, but more importantly, how they make their community better just because of who they are and what they are and the accomplishments they have, but always thinking about, from humble beginnings, but, really moving and supporting the people who sometimes don't have the same resources that you do.
Of course. Yeah. And it is such a blessing to have that multi-generational support or multi-generational influence of women in your life. A lot of people do not have that, especially women, perhaps in their generation, that did not recede.
Yes.
They didn't recede into the background. And I guess, again, that's why we see you in the front. You're leading not from the back, from the front, because women actually were leading from the back for so long. Yeah. So I want to remark upon that, because that is really something that is special. And we just don't get a lot of that multi-generational impact. So,
well, and I think the other thing about women and how we lead is we lead collectively, right? Sure. So it's not, we never see ourselves as having to be out front or singular. It's always in the ways that we do that as a group and collectively, and the impact of not one but all who are kind of united or doing something, and that you pull on each other's strengths. You don't have to lean into weaknesses, but you help cultivate and develop where folks don't have. And so just the different way that women lead, just in general.
So this went by really quickly. So before the break, I do want to ask a question that we ask of everybody on her journey, and that is, when did you know your journey as a Black woman was going to be different than everyone else's? So we'll let you think about that.
Okay.
And we'll come right back with more from Shante Avant. You are watching Her Journey, presented by Kudzukian Media Group.